Welcome to Bogside Chats. We're talking everything DeFi Kingdoms and keeping it casual. We're the first non-whale podcast. No Gen Zeros, no stable of 100 heroes. My name's C9N. Joined with me as always, and more importantly, is Mattyesq and GuyKid. Boys, how are we doing?
Very good, very good. We're talking more Perilous Journey, state of the game, but more importantly, this episode we are joined by Twitter superstar DFK Franz. Franz, how are you?
Twitter superstar. Me and my 400 followers. I don't know about that. Just trying to get some alpha from the bigger accounts, you know.
Oh, I get it. Guy, how are you doing?
Doing well, boys. Franz, thanks for joining us, bud.
Yeah, happy to be here. Enjoyed the first two episodes. I got rugged by Matty on the first one I was supposed to be on, but I don't know. He made up some kind of scheduling conflict to keep me off.
Right. Of course. We couldn't work out the schedule, so therefore it was rugged.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Anyways, we're talking about Perilous Journey. We have, what was the website? DFK Tavern had a cool tool we were looking at about submitted heroes. What is the macro picture looking like, Guy, on heroes that have been sent on the journey so far?
Let's hit refresh and see if anything's happened in the last 20 minutes.
Oh, and also
look at that.
Pokemon.
Another 17 heroes have sent on their way. So we're up to 2,600 heroes. 55 Gen Zeros are already on the boat too. So that's actually interesting because they probably could have gotten another summon in before going on the boat. You can tell a lot of people are just kind of quest exhausted at this point and are ready to just take a week off and let their heroes chance it on the boat. We've got 28 mythics already. That's what this 0 to 4 is so far. And our first two Dread Knights are out there.
I cannot imagine sending a mythic or a Dread Knight or even a Sage or a Dragoon. I feel like there's so much you lose there value-wise.
Well, you got to think that the people who are sending Dread Knights, it's not their only one. You know, these are the guys that have 3 or 4. Some have advanced abilities. Some are rare. You know, spare a few.
Whales.
And a lot of them have just decided, all right, my Dread Knight has a summon, so I'm just going to use it up. And if I get another Dread Knight, then I can send one of them. So it's like, with that logic, it's not bad. But it'll be interesting, too, because the Dread Knights that stay behind, that still have their summon left, fast forward a couple expansions from now, that summon's going to be a lot more valuable.
I think in general... Sorry, you go, Franz.
No, I was going to derail us already from Perilous Journey. The idea of summoning with the Dread Knight, I'm kind of behind it. I kind of like it. It decreases the value of that Dread Knight, but if you're holding it for the idea of summoning for an ultimate class, right? That's so far in the future that the value you can get right now, I don't have any Dread Knights. I'd take the chance at another Dread Knight now.
And that's actually a good point, too, because how many more Dread Knights, especially these whales that have these wallets, they'll probably end up with a couple more Dread Knights between then and now as well.
Yeah, well, I plan to have at least, 20 by the time that ultimate.
Seriously.
Yeah,
What's an ultimate class?
So
this is something that's been rumored. Not rumored. It's going to happen. But once they open up these new regions, Crystal Vale's the most recent one. Once they open up a couple more of these, there'll be more classes that will come down, and then eventually there'll be a level above Dread Knight. That is this rumored Ultra class, or what is it called? Ultra?
I think Ultimate.
Ultimate class. Eventually, that your Dread Knight will be able to summon with some other class and create this even more powerful one. But again, like Franz was saying, this is way down the road. This is way after. That's not going to be an option until several different regions are opened up, several different new chains are added to the game. Sort of a end game option that is out there.
Yeah, I'll be out and living on a beach by then on my Jewel, winnings. I won't really care.
Just feels early. It's like they're allowing us to play the game so far before it's finished. It's like playing blue version without Blastoise or Charizard being in the game yet.
Wow.
You love putting Pokemon references in. I don't know if that one made any sense, to be honest.
I've been playing Arceus.
You guys do have to reference some other games, otherwise, people are going to think that Pokemon's the only.
It's a great game. It's a great game.
I know
between Pokemon and
Guy
DFK,
was-
where do you find enough time in the day?
Yeah, Guy, you were a WoW guy before this, right? So we have other games to draw off of besides just Pokemon.
Anything else jumping out on
Well, no,
people that have been sent so far?
Well, that was my question, is what macro trends are you seeing, Guy? I mean, I think the big one for me, and we talked about this earlier, was mining as a profession. There are not as many miners being sent. I mean, is that just happenstance, or do you think there's a logic behind that?
I think there's enough heroes out there now that we're beyond the probability realm. So the fact that there's a 2-to-1 ratio of miners or 1-to-2 ratio of miners to any other profession, people are deliberately leaving their miners behind, like not sending them on the Perilous Journey. And that's either A, because they're going to mine right up until the last minute of when they go on the boat, or B, most likely their miners are more valuable than their other equivalent heroes. Professions aren't weighted into the rewards at all. So when you look at two heroes side by side, you're better off leaving your miner at home than sending him on the boat.
Will having a lot of these miners not being burned, is it going to lower the value of miners because there'll just be more of them on the market?
I mean, I think the demand for miners still outweighs all the other professions so much. So the fact there's 370 that'll potentially be burned, I don't think will necessarily offset.
Only 370. I wonder where we're going to hit towards the end of the week. I assume most people are going to do it at the end of the week.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see these numbers go up on Sunday because I believe Monday's the deadline. But I think it's interesting with miners, right? Because they're definitely less being sent because they hold the most value as far as, extracting value from that locked jewel. But also, the idea that will it change the miner floor going forward? I mean, I think as Crystal Vale opens now, we have a lot more people that are going to start having locked crystal. Whereas, I don't know. I got into this game in December. I don't have much locked jewel. I mine gold more than jewel. But once Crystal Vale starts, we're all kind of on a level playing field.
Right.
I think
that's a very interesting point. I mean, for me, just personally, like I said, I've said this multiple times. I have under 5 heroes. I'm only looking for foragers and fishers because for me, it's not even worth my time to be gardening or mining. So this is a different player who's making this decision on the miner. It's clearly someone who has a pretty decent amount of locked jewel where a miner actually matters.
Right. Well, and then I think to Franz's point, fast forward 2-3 months from now, you're probably going to have a decent need for a miner, not quite to the same extent as the whales, but you're going to have some locked crystal that'll grow if you're early into the gardens right off the bat. So I do think, I think the Crystal Vale event will be a bigger impact on the price of miners long term than this Perilous Journey event.
Yeah, and when Crystal Vale first starts, so there is going to be a delay, right? It's the single staking first, then they're opening the gardens. I don't think we're going to be able to do professions in Crystal Vale right off the bat. But once that opens, and even that minimum for us smaller players is going to be a higher percentage of the lock than it is now here in Sarandale. So does that give them more value? I mean, it's still a small amount that's being mined, but I don't know, it's something to weigh.
Have they released when Crystal Vale is open to non-Perilous Journey people?
Well, I think how Perilous Journey will work is they're going to go there and come back to Sarandale. So the heroes that survive Perilous Journey are going to come back to the docks back in Sarandil and say, "Hey, this is what we found," and they're gonna have a quest tag and all that attached to them, but they're gonna be in Sarandil the whole time. They won't be in Crystal Vale. So there's probably gonna be, I'd say, a 2 to 4 week delay between the end of Perilous Journey and the beginning and opening of Crystal Vale. Anyone have any thoughts on timeline?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Perilous Journey end and Crystal Vale single staking open immediately. I mean, I don't
think
know.
that's wishful thinking. I think at this point, I think there's going to be a gap
But
of time.
you got to think, right? Like the single staking, it's not. Yes, it's on the AVAX subnet. That's different. That's that they've been building. But the formula, as far as what they're doing, they're repeating the Sarandale game plan, right? So
Right.
I would think for the single staking to open, it might not be too difficult for them. The rest of Crystal Vale, yeah, maybe it takes some time, but I'm hoping that a week after Perilous Journey, we get our crystal drop from all the recent happenings and can start single staking that jewel to earn more crystal.
Yeah, I mean, I think there'll be a big push. Obviously, once they open anything, I mean, even the single staking, there's going to be a massive push there for people to jump in. And I hope, and the way the team's been doing it, we've talked about, the team's been releasing it. They've been giving information and releasing new things in the game pretty regularly, on a pretty decent schedule, pretty decent clip. So, I mean, it makes sense that it'll be quick, which means even more even more reason to be on top of it and be one of the first ones to be joining these gardens.
How much jewel are you guys leaving on the sideline in preparation for that single staking? Because I had grand plans of having a large sum ready, and I've been summoning, I've been buying.
I told myself I was gonna get up to 300x jewel by March 1st and 600x jewel by April 1st. I am at 60 jewel. So I'm making great progress on that. And I once again get to thank my good friends at ADFK for that. Raff and Neindorf with their tavern alerts. Yesterday I found 2 recessive Gen 1s for under 110 jewels, so I had to buy those. And then I actually found this other guy, Mickey, who's doing, for those of us that don't have Gen 0s, you can rent a Gen 0 summon to get your own true Gen 1. And I actually got a rare Gen 1 out of that, but that cost me 100 jewel as well. So pretty much in 24-hour period, I went on a spending spree of about 330 jewel.
Jeez.
Well, no,
I mean,
you brought up.
it sounds like you got value out of it, but that's a lot,
Right. And that was money that I had tucked away in the jeweler to be ready to be liquid for Crystal Vale. But my thought process is, I don't think it's going to happen right after the Perilous Journey.
Yeah.
Hopefully Franz can prove me wrong there, and it does happen right after we get off the boat. But hopefully, with all of these heroes going on the Perilous Journey, anyone that does have heroes on the sideline, the value of those goes up because everyone's going to be itching to do something during the week.
A little more activity, people changing hands, speculating. That's interesting.
Yeah. This next week will be really interesting.
Yeah, you mentioned that the alert system, and my initial reaction was the worst thing that ever happened. For my jeweler stack, previously the bank stack, but yeah,
those guys created a great way to lose money. Not lose money, but to spend
money.
Yeah,
exactly.
I've never been more liquid, and there's nothing better than watching that little Jewel X counter go up, even if it's so tiny. You're just like, yeah.
You're ready. You're ready for the single staking.
As ready as I'll be.
Have you bridged it? Have any of you guys been working the docks as far as bridging over to?
Yeah, I'm an expert at this already. So if you guys have any questions, just let me know.
That was sarcastic, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the Avax Jewel Garden currently. A little bit, as much as small as my bag is, it is a bag, but that is interesting in terms of what gardens are going to be available in Crystalvale. I know there's a single staking, but do we know, is it the same? Is it going to be the same spread, same options as what we have right now in Serendale?
Franz, what do you think?
Well, so you got to assume there's going to be an AVAX crystal pool, right?
Totally.
Because AVAX is now like right now, the one jewel pool has the highest emissions. I'm assuming the crystal AVAX jewel will have the highest emissions over there. And then, I'm interested to see, because they've been talking a lot about kind of refining the criteria for a pool. The super bid got taken out. There were a few others that were taken out.
Artemis Miz.
Yeah. Which I still to this day don't. Miz token, I don't know what that is.
Me neither, but I was a big fan.
It was the one that I just couldn't even find it. But yeah, I'm hoping you see some bigger names and some attractive pools over there. Like maybe Joe gets a pool, Trader Joe, which is the biggest decks on AVAX today. I don't know.
And then also that is very interesting. I because I don't know much about AVAX. I'll need to research more of those things. But will there be any jewel gardens in Crystalvale, or is that just not an option?
I think there probably will be, right? I mean, the single thing is jewel originally. As far as garden, like a crystal jewel garden, I feel like makes sense. Probably not like a Wavex garden, because that's on Serendale.
Or at the same vein, will there be crystal gardens added to Serendale?
Yeah.
What's when it comes to that initial piece, maybe in the liquidity pools, where's your head at? What are you speculating?
Well, we've discussed this too, and we've been talking about it maybe outside of the podcast. Of if everybody's excited about Crystalvale, are they going to move all their funds out of Serendale? And are the APRs of Serendale gardens going to skyrocket? So is there an option to maybe just sit tight and let the numbers go up where we're at?
Of course there is. I'm in AVAX Jewel, and I'm in one Jewel. And I plan on taking the one jump over and keeping the other pool here. Let's diversify. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, I'm not moving my gardens from Serendale. I think there's going to be a lot of FOMO and a lot of mad rush. And yeah, everybody's been speculating that for a while, that the APRs are going to go up once this happens. I believe it. I think it's going to play out that way.
I'm going to make sure I have enough jewel in Crystalvale to match whatever I've gotten at Crystal Rewards, so that I can provide a Crystal Jewel LP. Because that'll be one of them, right?
I mean, we don't know. I mean, most likely, yes. Obviously, I don't think they've officially given any sort of indication of what gardens will be there. But I have to assume that either in Serendale or Crystalville, or probably both, to be honest, there'll be a Crystal Jewel garden option.
Well, so did they say? And maybe this might be an ignorant statement. The single jewel, right, to earn Crystal originally, is that going to be a constant, or is that like an opening limited time thing, and then will the bank or the jeweler become a crystal jeweler on Crystalvale then? Did that make sense the way I said it?
Yeah, I think it's just it goes back to what I said previously in the last episode. There's so many changes happening that it's creating an exponential amount of variables that we can sit here and speculate small details all fucking day. And that's what makes this game so much fun, because I think we're pretty early when it comes to the long run, and this is Facebook to Axie's MySpace, but This is the positive Facebook.
It's not bad. That's not a bad reference. That's not bad.
Wait, say that again. That one.
Axie is MySpace, and this is Facebook.
Okay.
Axie Infinity being. Yeah.
But I believe Frisky Fox is not evil. So
Not
Yeah.
the Zuckerberg. Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
compare. To Zuck.
I think.
at least he's not a robot, which is sweet.
Also, one thing, and I'm noticing this as you're bringing up the roadmap here. One thing they said that I feel like everyone's overlooking, I know I'm overlooking, they did say that pets are going to happen right when Crystal Veil happens, like on the same timeline. I'm gathering those eggs. I know we all are. But Crystal Veil is taking all the focus that I feel like when they say, like, hey, those eggs can hatch, like, that's going to be kind of a whirlwind. And you guys can't see it, but CN9 is giving me the finger right now because he doesn't have an egg yet.
Sorry, that's behind the scenes. That's not part of the podcast, Franz. I don't know if you know that or not. We don't include that. We don't talk about that.
We invite you on here. And you...
This whole segment. Fine.
Yeah, I would like a pet. Here's my question: should I can you buy a pet?
You can buy the golden egg.
Should I try to purchase a pet with the liquidity I just opened up real quick?
So that's an interesting, because I believe the last I checked on pets or on eggs, they're like 35, 40 jewel, and that's the floor. So C9N, as someone with not a lot of heroes, what's more valuable to you? Another hero that can start questing, or an egg that, like, hey, we don't know what pets are going to go for once they're on the market?
Well, there are less pets than heroes, correct?
Sure.
Yes.
So if they're going for a floor hero, it kind of makes sense to hit one.
Let me specify that. There's in existence currently less eggs than heroes. However, there's no cap on either. So hypothetically, one could surpass the other.
Yeah, but the summoning rate is crushing the egg.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
So, okay.
Rate's actually gone up. It's 58 jewel
per egg.
Per egg. Not the LPs to physically buy the eggs, but if you were to buy 50,000 gold to get the golden pet.
Oh, the gold one. Yeah, I bought a gold one when Jewel was at, I think, like 17, 18. I decided to buy an egg with it.
Yeah, you have one of each, right?
Two. I have two gray. It was a quest that Mattyesq rugged me a bit on the outcome, and I didn't see what happened. And the next morning I was checking, and all of a sudden there was a 2 next to the gray. It was very nice, but couldn't post it on Twitter and farm that interaction there. So was it really worth it if you can't tweet about it?
So C9, to make you feel a little better, a gray egg is the cheapest egg right now, which is 32 jewel.
Perfect. I could do that. Well, also, I don't know how many quests in I am, but it's a numbers game. I could also just sit tight.
And we've seen the floor. I mean, it's gone through waves, but 36, 37 is the floor for a hero. I mean, I don't know personally. If Franz were to pose that question to me, I would say I'd rather get a hero than an egg right now.
I didn't post it to you.
Yeah, exactly.
No, a hero.
Yeah, I'd much rather get a hero. I mean, like if the value is the same. I mean, I know 32 versus like 37. There's a little bit difference there, but in general, with that amount, if the eggs were to drop significantly, my answer might change, like the price. But right now, I think there's more value in a hero, and I think that's a great segue to our next topic that we're going to talk about a little bit. We've been seeing the Perilous Journey. We've seen a lot of people go on the Perilous Journey, but for us, at least for me, and I know C9N, we're not really sending anybody, so we're looking more at what's going on in Serendale with summoning, and what's the best move right now for the people that are not sending their heroes on this journey. Specifically, we want to talk about subclass when you're summoning. Is there a combination that is sort of the best way to summon, including the subclass in the summoning. I know we had a lot of ideas on that.
Was there a question in there?
No, that was just
it was
rambling.
a huge ramble. It was awesome. I loved it. We're gonna
Just
have to
rambling.
Subclasses.
I was hoping somebody would jump in, and no one was jumping in.
Guy,
We're all trying to be respectful.
Okay.
But so what's the punchline? So do subclasses matter?
Do
Yes.
subclasses matter, and should we be summoning with subclasses in mind?
Yes.
Go ahead, Franz.
No, yeah, I've been telling you guys for a while that I love the idea of a good subclass, the idea of a advanced subclass. I've been matching or trying to match again using that ADFK hero matcher system. I've been trying to not just match the primary, but also the subclass, so that I can get a chance at a Dark Knight, Paladin, Ninja, even, like anything like that.
So for
Pally on the market because I couldn't summon one for the life of me.
So, all right, Mr. Moneybags, for someone like Matty or I with just a few heroes, would it be beneficial to purchase a hero with a basic primary class but a advanced subclass? Is that still some benefit?
Well, you say for you or Matty. Matty has a Dark Knight, so that I'm very jealous of. It's very nice.
Is he? Yeah, but say he's trying to add another, and
No, I mean, if the question is it better to have an advanced subclass than a basic subclass? Like, yeah, if you go to, and Guy, I don't know if you have it pulled up, but the Google Doc that has all the hero stats. I mean, the advanced subclasses, they're, it's just higher as far as what you can attain with the stats. It's.
And I understand that. I mean, I think we understand the basic concept of advanced subclass being better than a basic subclass. The point is, should we be putting a lot of value? If we're going to buy a hero, should we be jumping up in price? Should we be reaching for somebody who has an advanced subclass? Is the value worth? I guess is the question. We know advanced subclasses is better than a basic. That's just we understand that concept. But the question is what. How should we be valuing that if we're going to be looking to buy a hero?
Well, so Guy, did they say? I believe it was mentioned during one of the AMAs, or it was Hubert that said it, that subclasses are going to have their own skill tree as well.
Yeah, I believe that if you've got a pirate ninja, then you're going to have pirate moves, and then you're going to have your own skill tree for your subclass for your ninja moves as well. Now, I'd be curious if you're level 3 pirate and you have basically 2 skill points that you've gotten from going from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. Is that 2 for your main class and 2 for your subclass, or is that 2 points you can only put anywhere across any skill tree?
Well,
which that right there is a really interesting thought too.
Right.
When is the skill trees expected to come out? Because that's like, what the hell are we even doing right now?
Right.
Yeah. So when is
Let's
it
talk
expected
about
to
the
come out,
speculation about the speculation that we're speculating on the speculated stuff.
Yeah, like to me, and I'm an absolute idiot when it comes to this. Again, no absolutes for me, and I'm
not a Sith. Not a Sith.
Yeah, not a Sith. I'm very loosey goosey. No absolutes. What?
The evil thing you're fine with, but you're too loosey goosey to be a Sith. Otherwise,
you have to be ruthless, or else
it's
people.
The dedication that he couldn't take with the Sith Order.
Yeah. All the other stuff's fine. Sorry, keep going.
But so, I think where C9's going with this too is like, all right, I've got a hero. I want this hero to be undervalued today, but there's going to be something that'll happen in the future that will increase the value of this hero long term. That's the main line. But all right, how much in the future are we looking?
Yeah,
these subclasses, Are we talking about 15 months from now, or are we talking about 3 months from now?
Yeah, is this in PvP stuff? With original roadmap plan because it's complicated, or is this, hey, we got to move this up because we're moving some other stuff up? What do you think, Franz?
You gotta. We're all expecting PvP this year, right?
Oh, I'm thinking
I
more
am.
like months, I think, rather than year.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Yeah, I think Q3, Q4.
I was thinking Q4.
We'll have PvP. I don't know if it'll be the final product of PvP. We'll have
Right.
PvP light over the summer, where it's maybe even before the summer.
I'll
Summer's
have
actually
PvP
fairly
light
far
in
away.
weeks.
Yeah.
Oh,
But then we'll have some version of PvP that will be beyond just the stats. But is that full blown, or is there another layer of iteration to that? That I don't know.
Well, what I was thinking was skill trees kind of would have to come before PvP. And when we're talking PvP light or PvP this, PvP, like I'm not talking about like LAN tournaments, stat competitions. I'm saying like, Frisky comes on and says, "Hey, PvP's open." Like it's there. Skill trees would have to come first. We're gonna have to get more kind of clarity on advanced skills before that. Like a lot has to happen before. So, I mean, I think.
I mean, even
So, what do you think will happen first? Skill tree or active passive abilities?
Ooh.
Active passive. And here's my reasoning, because it's ridiculous. And again, I just want everyone, all our listeners, to know that I know fucking nothing. I'm the Jon Snow Jedi. Okay.
Star Wars.
these references. Well, what is this?
You mentioned Jon Snow on the last one. He's all over the place.
Yeah, well, whatever. You keep rubbing your head over there.
No one can see the video but you.
There's two.
Not
Listen,
that.
there's two active abilities and there's two passive abilities, but a skill tree is like a lot more friggin' work. It just makes
I think that's a
tackle
fair.
a couple things at a time.
I think that's a fair point. And also something I want to mention is we don't even know how the abilities will interact, how the abilities will interact with the skill tree. I mean, they might be completely different. They might be completely unrelated, or it could be if you have a basic ability, your skill tree looks different from someone who has an advanced ability. We don't know these facts. Again, we're very speculative at this point. So I think it's hard to make any assessment, any concrete assessment. However, it is fun to speculate and maybe guess, because if we guess right, maybe we could end up with a valuable hero.
Yeah. And before I pass it over to Franz, I just know that my thief with active 1 is going to be like cast spell, and he's got 0 freaking mana. That's just what's going to happen. Franz, what do you think?
Well, yeah. So you're saying, the idea that, and that's you're kind of leading into what I was going to say. The idea that we don't know what these abilities are. We don't know if each class, if advanced 1 for a knight is the same as advanced 1 for a priest or something, right? So I've been trying to summon to upgrade these abilities, and I got my first elite ability summon.
Oh, nice.
Today, right? But it was, so the summon was a warrior knight with an 18% chance of a paladin, Gardener, right? And what I ended up with was a priest fisher. So the summon went great, but it got an elite 1 ability. So at first, super excited, elite 1, I'm awesome, I'm going to be rich. Second thought, it's on a priest, right? My priest is going to be attacking. So like, is that elite 1 just going to be useless on him? Or maybe on priest, elite 1 is like super heal, like I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
or the elite 1 is tied directly to the particular class. So what do you think, Guy?
if you were a basic 1, I would be concerned. The fact you're at elite 1, I'm not as concerned because there's only 2 elite abilities. So
they have to be good for anybody.
Well,
they
right,
have
but
to be good for everyone.
It's the one class where I think but like any other class, elite 1, I'm happy.
So Franz thinks that priests are going to be useless. So that's pretty biased. But yeah, what do you think, Matty?
I think you're making a joke, but also I think at that level, elite and even the advanced, to be honest, I think they will have value for no matter what the class. Now, again, I think what Guy was hinting at is the basic abilities might not match up with your class, But I think once you get to advanced and once you get to elite, it's going to be an improvement, you know. And this goes back to our thing of like the only things we know right now. The advanced are better than basic. Elite is better than advanced. These are things like these are the basic things that we know, and can, you know, speculate on those things that they are going to give value.
Always bringing us back to zero. I really appreciate that about you, Matty.
I think, yeah, and I think also too on a final point about subclasses, I am kind of interested in the skill tree talk of, you know, based on like traditional RPGs and traditional kind of games and stuff like. You know, your knights and your warriors are these melee characters who are just your tanks who just, you know, sit there and hack away at the enemies. You know, if they have a subclass that's, say, archer or a subclass that's wizard, is that going to change how they perform in the PvP? Is that going to give them a ranged attack or give them some sort of magic attack? You know, will there be some sort of hybrid where we can create a specific hero based on the subclass?
Yeah, right. Does my archer shoot regular arrows or magic arrows, Franz?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, the market right now is saying those priest and wizard subclass are worse. You know, like if you look at any class that you're searching for, the cheapest are the priest and the wizard subclass. You know, and I tend to agree with that, right? Like I want a warrior. I don't want a magical warrior. I want a knight subclass on my warrior or a warrior subclass, but I want it to be a little thicker. One thing Guy was talking about was for casters, if I don't have a caster subclass, like if I have a wizard that's not a wizard or a priest subclass, I want a thief, right? Because you look at the sage, the agility is the big difference with the sage. I just want shooting out spells quicker. Like I get a monk subclass or something like that. Like I'm not excited.
This is a clear example of thinking about these things way in the future, and it's awesome to speculate. There's a lot of material here, and it's a great brain activity to be able to put together. But like Guy said earlier, and Guy, maybe you can follow up to this. There are so many variables to be able to put a skill tree in, to be able to out of PvP Lite when we haven't even gotten into PvP Lite yet. There are so many variables. There's going to be things a month or two down the line where we're going to look back and be like, I can't believe I didn't just buy up 6 of X right now. You know, this primary class, this subclass, this particular active status, active passive one. We're early. I'm bullish. We're not early, but we're early. This is going to be a great game. I'm excited. It's Facebook to Axes and MySpace.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. We're definitely early. Do we know where there's hidden value in cards? No, we don't. Can we speculate and try to make educated guesses? Yeah, I think that's what we're all trying to do. But we're not going to be right all the time. So I don't think any of us are going all in on any of the speculations that we're having, but maybe buying a hero or two that we could see a good bump in price based on what we're speculating on.
Yeah. I think and I have one final point we're going to bring up in the podcast, but I do want to just end this conversation pretty soon. But I think especially looking at what Franz was saying of the market, I think, and that's something that I don't do as well. I think Guy does that better, and Franz, I'm assuming you do it as well, of finding what the market trends are, and because that's probably where the value is going to be, is if the market is devaluing priest or wizard subclass, you know, perhaps we can find value in a hero who has one of those subclasses and find a cheaper price. I think that's right now the best we can do is try and find those market trends and you know,
super straightforward, watered down example. Go back to December. Foraging and fishing were the 2 quests that were out. I was buying miners. That, hey, I can fish with a miner. Yeah, I'm losing a little bit of the boost profession, but the value of miners, the utility of miners will only go up in the future.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much I was right
Yeah.
but I was right. We're to the point where I sold at a profit and probably left a lot of money on the table because I sold a little too fast when mining came out.
Yeah. Well, and I
But
think
just thinking of like, all right, there's some things that we can think about that are 1 or 2 steps away, and there's other things that this group loves talking about, myself included, that are probably 10 or 20 steps away that we're not making really any real financial decisions off of. But it's fun to theory craft and talk about.
Yeah. And I know Matty, being the attorney that he is super pumped about his agenda. But if we can maybe throw in a couple comments about Frisky's community chat today, I would love to be able to fit that in if we can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I actually did not listen to that or hear it. So let me get this. We'll do this real quick, and then we can jump to that because I didn't listen to that at all today. But one of the things that they changed with the not changed with the Perilous Journey, but they updated was the stamina quest. Or I'm phrasing that poorly, but basically they added it so that if you have a hero who completes a quest and is sitting there waiting for you to hit complete, or waiting for you to hit completed quest, he or she will regain their stamina while it's sitting there, which is a nice little add for people that are, maybe not on their computer 24/7 and
For
have
some of us
somebody
that have
sitting.
gardeners that we've just been banging our heads against the keyboard every single night, being
Yeah.
like, I can't go to bed yet. I can't go to bed yet. All right, I need to set an alarm to wake up in 4 hours so I can send them back out. Like, it's a huge lifestyle improvement for us that have gardeners and miners.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, personally, I don't have any gardeners or miners, so I feel like this doesn't affect the fishers or the foragers that much. But it does seem like an amazing quality of life change that they added. Again, just goes back to a broken record of how great the team is and how awesome they are at
Yeah.
fixing the game
And
constantly.
it's I think it just came kind of out of nowhere. Of like, patch day kind of came and went. Perilous Journey got updated. Everyone was super excited about that, and then like 24 hours later, Frisky was like, "Yeah, we did this thing," which I personally don't do any coding or development, but everything I've understood about it is stamina regen is a relatively simple game mechanic, but an extremely complicated development item because it's not a black and white kind of one linear item change. There's a lot.
Well, it sounded like it was also the blockchain was making it complicated too. That the fact that all these things are on the blockchain makes the coding that much more
Think of
difficult.
what's happening is you've got a quest. All right, go and complete that quest, or go and do that quest. I'm going to click complete, and when we click complete, all right, you're now back in my ownership. You're regenerating stamina and whatnot. So
Nerds.
theoretically, I'm pretty sure how questing works is you're staking your hero to the blockchain, where you're having it go and complete this task. And to have another layer that's happening while that hero is staked or doing a task is extremely difficult.
Right.
So one thing that I thought was interesting. So I feel like the general sentiment out there, right, is that fishers and foragers gain XP faster, right? I mean, is that we're all on the same page there?
Yep.
So Hubert was in general last night, and
Hubert.
Ubi. He was talking about this and about the stamina change, and he said that, and so I'm reading here. So fishing and foraging get more XP over time as heroes improve, but gardening and mining are more static. So when the next tier of quests come out, you should notice a decent bump for gardening and mining XP gains to comp. So I've personally been looking for my heroes that are want to level up fast, right? Like I mentioned, I just bought a paladin. It's gonna be my PvP tank, and he's a forager, so I was pumped and like he's gonna level up faster, right? Once those next level quests come out, and if what Hubert said, if the gardeners and miners then are going to be gaining experience faster, I think I might have kind of screwed myself on that.
Yeah,
I mean,
you haven't screwed yourself.
Way, but
You haven't screwed yourself, but gardeners are the floor heroes right now. And if what you're saying is true and what Hubert's saying is true, people are potentially undermining the value of gardeners. So if you can find like a pretty sweet, somewhat okay PvP pair, like a wizard or something that's got a solid alignment, you might be okay when these next quests come out. And this is the exact example we're talking about, where when the gold rush happens, which is Perilous Journey, be the guy selling the shovels and the pickaxes and the gold pans. This might be that thing on the side that this is where the money's made, or this is where the smart money is, I should say, rather than rushing on PJ.
That that could backfire though, because about a month and a half ago I started stacking gardeners because I was waiting for the batched gardeners to come out. They said they were going to make it so that you can batch them the same way you do with miners. And I was like, oh well, the gardening floor is going to shoot up. That never happened. I have way too many gardeners.
Yeah, Franz, you're new to the podcast, but this is speculation central, so I need you to start being a little more positive with everything. I appreciate it.
I'm trying.
Well, I mean, I think it is important to note that we are speculating, and we could be wrong. And don't put money out there. Or not, this is not financial advice, but don't put value to things that you're not ready to lose. Especially if you're playing this game like we are, where we're not. I mean, I don't want. We say whales a lot, but we don't have huge pockets. We don't have huge stables of heroes, so we do have to find value when we can.
Well, so quick note: what I'm saying is financial advice.
Oh, you are? Okay, yeah. So now
Yeah.
you're legally responsible for everything you say, huh?
Well, yeah. So what they say, the podcast, not financial. I'm giving. Yeah, take this to the bank, to the jeweler.
Sure. Great.
Remember,
Can't wait to get sued. Can't wait to get sued. Thanks, friends.
Remember to listen to people that have aliases on YouTube in a podcast while they invest their obscure cryptocurrencies in a fictional game.
That's exactly what we're all doing. None of the team is doxed. That's we're doing what you just described. And I'm
which is why I said it, but I appreciate the follow-up, Franz. Twitter superstar as always. I've got I've got one more.
Yes, no. This was sort of unannounced. Frisky did sort of a AMA kind of situation. I didn't listen to it. C9N, you listened. Give us the update.
Well, I'll make it really quick because it's the last agenda item. I'll tell you what I'm interested in. If you actually go on the announcements, you can open up the Word doc.
This is in Discord. They posted in Discord.
In Discord. Go to the Discord, check out the announcements, and you can see the link where Frisky was taking notes in the middle of this while he was bringing people on and getting engagement. You can see the attendees, which was Frisky and DFK community. What was the purpose? It was to increase utility and value of DFK assets and encourage developers and builders to build around the DFK ecosystem. Sounds like a couple of the pieces that I was interested in were, he touched on the grant program that he has. I thought that was interesting. He said he's got probably over 50 grants in right now. There was some fluff in there. When you're bringing random people in, you're going to get it. Mm-hmm. Ogre Abroad is in the notes there. I must have missed that because I have ADHD and that's what happens. And then lastly, Mattyesq had some good stuff, but there was right at the end there was a particular question regarding the grants. Someone asked if there was a possibility that some of the grants could be released to the DFK community, the public, to get some voting on, to see what people would like. Frisky said that he was super interested in that. Didn't have complete control. That was something that Sunbear had, which is kind of really cool to see that there's decision making being diversified. But there's some interesting thing in the notes. I highly recommend. Any thoughts on what I just said? I know I kind of ran down some quick stuff real quick.
Well, I would just say the one grant program that they have sort of shared publicly is this DFK Arena, which is a very cool idea. It's sort of taking your heroes and putting them inside of kind of like a kind of Street Fighter or Tekken, fighting style game where you can then wager in-game gold on if you're going to win or not. There's still a lot of details to come, but that's sort of what the proposal is and what's out there, and I think that's a lot. That's a lot of fun. Say it again.
Is that live?
No. It's not live yet. They still have to vote on it, and like the proposal has sort of been publicly shared.
There's a long-term roadmap. It would be rolled out in 90, 120 days.
I saw some screenshots on Twitter. They must have been like teaser things, but
the team that submitted the proposal or submitted the grant proposal, they have some like videos of like how the combat would look. They're kind of fun, and I think while it's a very cool idea, I think the grant program in general I'm more excited about than this one specifically. I think it's very fun that potentially we can have third-party creators creating either mini games or sort of other aspects of the game that could be added, because there has been seemingly in some of the AMAs and some of the comments complaints that right now this game is really just clicking a button, every 8 hours. And so there's not really a lot of gaming to be done. There's certainly a lot of strategy and a lot of I know we love discussing it and a lot of stuff to discuss, but at this point right now there's not much gaming to be done. Now I know the team is going to roll out the P and a lot of stuff in the future, but I think this is a fun option to have outside parties creating some fun games and fun aspects to the game.
I fundamentally disagree. There's gaming to be had. I'm having so much fun.
Okay.
I spend so much time in DFK that I can simply say that you're wrong, and it's purely anecdotal. And I bet everyone will.
No, I take that. I understand that. I understand what you're saying.
All right. Thank you.
Wait, I'm gonna just ignore C9N and continue off Mattyesq.
That's normal.
Something that I saw today that I thought was really cool, and I think fits into this like idea of things being built outside but around the game. Johnny Hold on Twitter, who he's great. They do the DFK Dungeons and Dragons.
Right, I saw that.
A few other people. It's great, but he mentioned there were some people replying to his tweet about who he was sending on Perilous Journey, and they were betting one on whether or not his heroes were going to make it. And like, it was hilarious, right? But like right there can be, markets set up and different things around what happens in the game.
Yeah.
Like that could all be built. It's really, it's
totally.
cool.
I mean, with the blockchain, you could easily create smart contracts for gambling in-game events. I mean, that's a simple process, and that could be super fun to be like, I'll bet 100 jewel that, my Dark Knight will beat your wizard, and something like that. I think there's potential for that. I think the community is itching for it.
Feeding the degens is a good idea. Oh, who would have thought?
Well, at the end of the day, right? We're all gambling constantly. I mean, that's crypto. It's a high risk, high reward community. We have a high tolerance for all that.
Well,
so let's bring it.
Not all of us, but yes, I understand that.
My DFK buy-in is from Tron that I purchased in like 2016.
I mean, I feel like everyone's got a similar story to that.
Just lost credibility.
There's nothing wrong with Tron. Tron's legit.
It's meta, bro. It's meta. Anyway, GuyKid, do you have any comments, any questions, or anything to say about about the live community brainstorm today? I'm sure you.
I actually did not catch it. I had a fairly busy fiat work day today. But I have been looking.
Hold on. Can I want to ask about that. Is that the new term that we should say for like regular work job?
Yeah.
Is that what that means?
I forget who. I think I got that from Neindorf.
Okay, I've heard it too a couple times now. I
absolutely love it.
So fiat work day means like your normal everyday day job.
He refers to it as the fiat mines, which is perfect.
That checks out.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. But so I'm looking through the Sandwich Punch AMA just kind of as you guys have been talking. And I have been looking at in the main DFK Discord channel, there is a subgroup for the DFK Arena.
Mhm.
And it's been really interesting seeing the community feedback of there's a lot of negativity around people don't want a third-party game affecting the core game mechanics. Because what's being proposed is this DFK Arena, even though it's a little spin-off, you can gain experience through this arena.
What the hell?
And your
I don't know
hero
if I
can
like
level
that.
up
I don't know
through
if I
the
like
arena.
that.
Wait, is
Yeah.
that
And that's been the overwhelming message that's been said through the main Discord channel.
Dude, I'm very torn on that. One, I'm like also very concerned. I don't have any justification, by the way. But the other thing is within the community feedback session that Frisky was on today, or the community brainstorm, I heard a lot of people saying, or at least it was somewhat of a common theme, maybe just to myself, that yeah, more community feedback, more us asking and voting and telling what to do. That scares me. I don't like the possibility of 51% of people agreeing on something and enabling in that for the other 49.
I don't hate that. I think, I mean, that's just crypto in general. I mean, we've talked about that, that's how hard forks happen and stuff like that. I think that's fine. I am skeptical of these grants and these kind of one-offs significantly affecting gameplay. And I think the guy
And
what you're talking about, I think that
the
it
key
does.
word you mentioned there is significant. And
Yeah.
what they've been highlighting is, all right, if it's going to take you a week to level up through the DFK game mechanics, it's going to take you a month or 2 months to level up through DFK Arena or something like that. But what I think the negative feedback, they saw it, and Frisky wanted to do a level set of what he's expecting out of these grants and how he wants to increase the utility for heroes. And I think that was the main driver is why he had this impromptu AMA, is he wanted to directly address some of the concerns people had. Because I think the two biggest concerns people had were one, core game mechanics being affected by third-party developers, and then two is security. So we're now potentially staking our heroes to a third-party developer that we don't have necessarily as much faith as we did with Frisky or the core DFK team. And
Yeah, and I think, sorry,
Go ahead.
you go. Well, I was just going to wrap it up and say, I think DFK Arena is a fun idea as a mini game that does not give experience, and that maybe you can wager if you want, stuff like that. But I don't think it should significantly affect your heroes. I think it's a fun kind of offshoot, but it shouldn't affect your experience at all, I think, in my opinion. But
I'm down for it to be a gladiator arena.
Exactly, just like a
stake
one-off.
some jewel or stake some gold, but getting experience or anything like that, that's too far in my opinion. Franz?
Sorry, I spaced out. I was on Twitter just now. What was the question?
DFK Arena, positive or negative things?
Yeah, no, I think I agreed with what Guy was saying, where it's fun, but if it starts affecting, normal game mechanics, I'm out on that. But I think Frisky mentioned, so I didn't watch the actual AMA, but I read his little, preface to it, and I think he said that they don't want any of these things to be something that, would supplant actual gameplay. So,
Awesome.
I'm confident that they'll find that right balance.
Matty, any final words?
No, I think Franz said it very well, and I would just say I think we're going to wrap up the pod. I do want to just give a shout out. Thank you, Franz, for joining us. This was a lot of fun chatting about DFK.
Great time.
Guy?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Been fun.
Franz, any final words? Any shout outs?
I had a great time. I think it was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
What's your official Twitter handle so we can get people out there?
Oh yeah, I gotta plug it. At DFK_Franz. You'll get a bloater meme or two. I might
love it.
in there once a month. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Good stuff. Thanks, Franz.
This has been another episode of Bogside Chats. We're talking everything DFK. We're keeping it casual compared to those other guys. We're the first non-whale podcast. No Gen Zeros. No stable of 100 heroes. My name's C9N. Again, more importantly is Mattyesq and GuyKid. We're also joined by Franz. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.